The first one to speak is Chris Whitehead for University of Newcastle.
Okay, good morning everyone. As Luca said, my name is Chris Whitehead. I'm from Newcastle University and I'm going to speak for 15 minutes, so we have to be quite precise about the timings. If anyone is interested in learning in more detail about what I'm going to say about what we'll do at Newcastle, then you can talk to me face to face. So I'll try and stick to time, and if I feel like I'm spending too much time, I can just look at this sculpture here who's sort of telling me off for taking too much time. Okay, one of the things that I was asked to do is just talk a little bit about Newcastle University, which is where we're situated. So as you can see from this slide, it's a large for the UK, metropolitan university, about 5,000 staff, 21,000 students. It's a member of the Russell Group, so it's one of the 20 leading research-intensive UK universities. And you know, there's a long track record of dealing with European Union research portfolios and also UK Research Council awards. We also, as a university, have different societal challenges which the university poses itself every year. And I've just also put some images there for you. On your right, an image of the riverscape around Newcastle and the neighbouring city of Gateshead. And on your left, these are some Newcastle University students. So if you come to study at Newcastle University, or if you send your children to study at Newcastle University, you or they will be as happy as this. This is where we're situated, in the International Centre for Cultural and Heritage Studies. So ICS is the acronym, it's easier to say. We're specialised in museum, gallery and heritage studies, and we run postgraduate programs which are, let's say, semi-vocational. And we've been running these for many years, as you can see. So we have a large community of MA students, around 70 to 100 MA students per year, which makes us one of the largest providers in the world, vocational training for museums, galleries and heritage. And we also have a PhD community as well. We're an active research group, so we have brought in a relatively large amount of research income, and it's structured around different themes that we have, as I was saying. So our three research themes are cultural politics and policy, identity, community and place, and media and representation. And I think all of those themes work in relation to the MeLa project in various ways, as we'll see. So I need to talk about what we're going to do. We are leaders of the first work package 1, which is Museums and Identity in History. And we're also, we'll co-partner on the fourth work package, which is Cultural Studies in and for the museum's context in museum studies, with our partners from Naples. But I won't speak about that work package. So our personnel is myself and Dr. Rhiannon Mason, who's in the audience there. I don't know, Rhiannon, if you want to identify yourself, because I have no pictures. And also a couple of people who were in the process of recruiting who will help us with the project. So a research associate and a project officer. So just in terms of our research interests, beginning with Rhiannon, who has a background in cultural theory, museum history, new museology, museum representations of cultural identities, particular national museums and national identities, which is where most of Rhiannon's work has taken place, in particular around contexts like Wales, and also things like representation, communication, identity, diversity, and history curatorship. My background is in art history and in art curatorship. So before I was an academic, I was an art curator. So I've done a lot of work on art museum history, interpretation practices, particularly art interpretation. And also more recently, over the past few years, I've been interested in museums and place, which is one of the dimensions that I want to talk about in relation to the work package. And my sort of driving interests in these contexts are epistemology, thinking about museum knowledge as representation, and social constructionism, the ways in which museums construct ideas of the world in its various aspects. And I'm also interested in learning theories, interpretation, and art curatorship because of my own background. One of the things that predicates our research within the MeLa consortium and within the project as a whole is something that we've recently completed, which was a UK-funded AHRC, which is the Arts and Humanities Research Council, which is one of the UK's government research councils, project which redeveloped a permanent display in the Laying Art Gallery, which is the main civic art gallery in Newcastle upon Tyne, which looked really at the relations between place and art and people. And we involved people in a lot of collaborative work, a lot of participatory work, in order to develop a display, which I hope will be in place there for at least 10 years. So we're interested in these ideas about how museums can represent place, but also about how visitors and indeed non-visitors can bring their own identities and their own relationships with place to the museum, and how those can be explored and how they can mediate museum representations. So what we will do as part of this work package is really to examine, as it says, the historical and contemporary relationships between European museum representations and identity within the contextual structure of place. And just to go through some of the topics that are involved in that, we're interested in the ways in which place is represented as significant within local and global human history, from morphology, like features of the natural environment and geology, to local traditions, archaeological distributions, all of these sorts of things, because one of the things that interests us, I guess, is the epistemological functioning of place as an organizing principle within museum representations and within the construction of museum knowledges. And also within the context of the modern day, the dialectics of the representation of place as a locus of roots or as part of many roots. So that play on words is really to capture, on the one hand, impulses towards fixity in thinking about places, but on the other hand, other trends relating to places as things which are passed through. And also the dynamics of the mode of address of museum representations in implying who belongs to places, who belongs to which places, and how and why, as well as who doesn't belong